review is being brought to you in part by Main Irish Airsoft.
Hey, welcome back to Audie's Airsoft. Now today, rather than doing a review of a gun, I'm only going to be able to do a preview of a gun. The reason being I haven't had time to take this particular AEG out on the field, but I think it's worth having a look at, so you all know it's out there. And the airsoft device we're going to look at is the Celsius CTW. Now, Celsius are a company with a very good reputation for making high-end AEGs. They started off making them for military purposes, for non-lethal training, and they found that as the airsoft market grew, that there was demand for very high-end AEGs. Hence they started making AEGs for us very lucky airsofters. So we'll have a quick look at what's in the box. You get the M4A1 itself, speed loader, magazine, 11.1 volt, 1200 milliamp, li-poly battery, barrel rod, little Allen key to adjust the hop up. There's also a CD with various manuals and exploded diagrams and so forth on it, for those of you who really want to go in depth into the gun itself. So we'll take it out and we'll have a quick look see at it. First thing I noticed when I took it out of the box was it is quite a hefty piece of kit. And also, another thing I noticed was the pistol grip was much smaller than I was used to. Now the reason for this is because Celsius come from a military background. They want their AEGs to be as realistic as possible. They want them to have the same handling characteristics as real steel. Okay, so hence the reason why this gun is quite heavy, and hence the reason for the slightly smaller than usual pistol grip. Would be much, in airsoft terms, that would be very small indeed. But it's not uncomfortable in any way. All they're trying to do is simulate real world. So, you know, kudos to them for doing that. Very nice materials being used. I like the way it's made. Everything looks spot on. The metal looks to be very good quality. It's a very nice colour. Some nice touches in it. The stock itself is very nice. Very little wobble. It's a little stiff to move along the stock tube at the moment, but it's a new gun. And anyway, having it stiff isn't such a bad thing altogether. I don't know if you can see it on the picture there, but there's also some nice rubberized pads on the side of the stock, which is very nice. Makes for a nice comfortable cheek rest. Another nice feature that I like, now not everybody will, is the stainless steel machined buffer tube. Having had a very good look at it, I'm very impressed with the quality of the machining. It really is a very nice piece of kit. Not everybody's going to want some shiny metal on our AEG, but personally I think the quality is excellent and it deserves a place on any AEG. So I'm going to open the gun up just so you can have a quick look at it, see the way it's built, because it is a little bit different to most AEGs that you've ever seen. That's the barrel cleaner, by the way. So a single body pin, receiver locks open. First thing you notice is that the gearbox looks very different. That's because it's a dedicated Celsius gearbox. Now this is Gen 3 or version 3 of the Celsius CTW, and they have made improvements along the way. One of the improvements to this particular system is an improved gearbox for more reliability. They've used, from what I can see, it certainly looks to be very high quality. I'm not going to open it up and tinker around with it because it is only a preview. Now one of the things you maybe can't see in this picture is there's actually an array of light sensors just there, which are attached to the ECU. And what they do is they tell the gun whether there's a magazine inserted, whether the magazine has ammo or whether it's empty. Once the magazine is empty, unlike most AEGs, it won't dry fire. It will actually stop the gun because there's a sensor to know when there is ammo in it. It will stop the gun from functioning. And to get it running again, insert new magazine and you have to press the bolt catch, exactly like you would on real steel. Okay, so that's a very nice feature. They have that there purely for simulation purposes to give you the most immersive experience possible. The hop up itself is in here, okay, and you adjust it using the Allen key. I know it looks very small, it looks a little bit fiddly, but you can actually adjust it with the receiver closed in through the magazine well. Yeah, it is a little bit more fiddly than you possibly used to on standard AEGs, but you know what? Once you chrono your gun, you can go out to the test fire range and adjust the hop up to your heart's content so you have it exactly as you want it before you go out in the field. So don't worry about it being a little bit fiddly. It is worth it in the end. Okay. Another feature I want to show you on this particular AEG. The cylinder. Okay. Most of the gearbox is down here. This is the cylinder. This is a 1 joule cylinder. Okay, it's specifically for the Irish market. It won't fire. It won't provide the BB with any more than 1 joule of muscle velocity, muscle energy, should I say. The nice thing about the cylinder approach is that you can swap this cylinder out for higher powered cylinders if you're going to jurisdictions where higher FPS is allowed. For example, in the UK, for example, if you're going to Burgos or anywhere else, you just swap it out to meet the appropriate requirements of that country. Another very nice thing is that these cylinders are 100% Systema compatible. So if you already have some Systema cylinders, you can just use them, slot them straight in, and they'll work 100%, which is very nice indeed. That means you really don't have to disassemble your gun if you're going abroad to change the FPS on it, as many of us have to. I think that's pretty much all I want to show you inside. So I'll just close the receiver, lock the pin. The magazine itself is a 120 round mid-cap. You may not be able to see it here, but there is a very different feed nozzle on this particular magazine. It is not compatible with your standard airsoft magazines. You do have to buy dedicated Celsius magazines. Now, the good news is that they're not as dear as gas blowback magazines, and they're probably on a par, maybe a fraction more expensive than the very high-end AEG magazines that you're used to buying. Okay, so they're not that expensive. You should easily be able to equip yourself with enough magazines to get out on the field. Dedicated Celsius 11.1 LiPo I mentioned earlier. If you are going to a jurisdiction which allows higher FPS, okay, if you were going to a jurisdiction and you want to tune the gun, you want to replace the cylinder to run between 400 and 500 FPS, Celsius do recommend that you use the 2400 milliamp LiPo, not the 1200 that comes as standard in Ireland. And the reason for that is the 2400 milliamp can actually sink a bigger current to the motor to allow it to work at the higher FPSs. So that's probably it for a preview. It is very high end, right? This gun isn't made for the casual skirmisher. It is meant for someone who wants the most immersive experience they can possibly get when they're airsofting. I can certainly see why the gun is a high-end AEG. I can see why it is probably more expensive than most of the AEGs you've seen out there. But having said that, it isn't anywhere near as expensive as the Systemas, which are one of the direct competitors with Celsius. If I had the money, I would certainly buy one of these. I wouldn't have any problem at all, because having seen the way they're built, having had a look at the materials that are used to put it together, it is very, very nicely made indeed. I only wish I could have skirmished it. So maybe in a later video I'll actually get a chance to use one of these in the field. But for the moment, that's it. Hopefully I've given you some information to whet your appetite. So thanks very much, Moddy's Airsoft, and we'll talk to you next time.